Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News, July 22nd, 2020. 4:45 a.m. here on the East Coast. And ladies and gentlemen, a few hours ago, there was a magnitude 7.8 earthquake in the Aleutian Islands up there in Alaska. Pretty devastating earthquake. As far as damage goes, as of right now, not many reports are coming out. There was a tsunami warning issued. We really don't have a lot of information on that either. But what I wanted to go into is, why did this earthquake start? Why did it happen? I think it was about 2 days ago, me and Mark over at Wages World were actually discussing an earthquake watch between the two of us. And Mark said, yeah, it looks like this CME was directed towards the Earth. And that was on the 19th. And we do know that these coronal mass ejection explosions on the sun, they can reach the Earth, if they are Earth facing. They could reach the Earth, within 48 hours, 72 hours, sometimes 4 days. It all depends on the strength of the CME. So I really wasn't expecting a magnitude 7.8. I was thinking something in the neighborhood of maybe, a high magnitude 6 or low magnitude 6. But then I thought of something right after this earthquake occurred, and I just woke up about maybe an hour ago. And the first thing I see, is this earthquake. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and jump out of this screen here, and I'm going to jump over to Fox News for just a second. And their headline about 1 hour ago, tsunami warning issued for parts of Alaska after 7.8 magnitude earthquake. And we're just going to dip down here, see what the preliminary information is. And when things like this happen, folks, usually a lot of the info isn't readily available. For a couple of hours, they're going to have to analyze all of this, the folks over at the USGS. I know Dutch Since was on this immediately, and he'll have some pretty good information also. But Dutch doesn't believe in Planet X, and I do not believe that he thinks that the sun has anything to do with earthquakes either. But that's his prerogative. There has been new science data that was just released, I think maybe about a month ago, where scientists are now, actually starting to admit, believe it or not, but they are starting to admit that things that occur on the sun, such as coronal mass ejections that are facing the Earth, and those impacts can and will induce earthquakes, large earthquakes, depending on how powerful that CME is. But the Fox News report says a tsunami warning has been issued late Tuesday night for much of the southern coast of Alaska and the Alaskan Peninsula after a preliminary magnitude 7.8 earthquake was recorded 75 miles off of the town of Chignik at a depth of 8 miles. That's shallow, very shallow. There was a tweet embedded into this article. It talks about the tsunami warning, and it states that localized tsunami warnings of South Alaska, Alaska Peninsula, following preliminary magnitude 7.4. Well, that was upgraded, and believe it or not, the USGS, as of right now, has not downgraded this earthquake. And even if they do downgrade it a little bit, it's not going to make a difference. It was a strong earthquake. This is also in a very, very critical area. Earthquakes like this, in this particular area can trigger massive earthquakes in the Cascadia fault zone. And we all know that. We've all talked about it for years. And look, folks, I'm not fear-mongering here, but it's just like anything else when you deal with the Earth. It is just simply a matter of time. Will it happen in your lifetime? Maybe, maybe not. But it will happen, and the destruction will be devastating. So there was also another tweet that was embedded in the article. Kelsey Frazier tweeted this out. It says the Homer Spit is being evacuated. I guess that's an area of Alaska. There's been a massive earthquake to the south, and the tsunami sirens are blaring. Cars are streaming up Skyline, one after the other, outside of my window. So I guess this was video taken. You know, basically, I'll play it. You could just hear some sirens. I'll be quiet for a minute. And that's pretty much it. Let me play that again. There's the sirens there. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's the loudspeakers in the background. And a voice saying a tsunami warning has been issued. Get the hell out. So that's basically it. We're going to jump out of here. And we're going to take a look at the CME tracker. Let me just blow this up a little bit. The CME tracker. Now, you know, the one thing I don't like about this model, this tool, is that we cannot go back in time and, you know, see the coronal mass ejections from the day before, or, you know, whenever the previous explosion on the sun happened. I wish we could go back in time, because there has been so much activity on the sun, you know, but this is a feature that we do not have available to us. So what we're looking at here, the little yellow circle that you see here where my cursor is pointing to, that is the Earth. The legend for what these symbols mean, they're right up here at the top. You also have the date stamp and a time stamp up here. Naturally, the white circle in the middle is the sun, revolving planets, and also space probes are included in this model. But you could see on or about on the 19th, that coronal mass ejection occurred. We talked about it in my live stream, if you guys were paying attention. Also on the 19th, we were able to see this Planet X object in its orbit. Now, we were only given 3 frames in that coronagraph image on the SEEDS website. So somebody asked me the other day, you still have not shown us clear video of this object orbiting. Well, yes, I have. And yes, I did. Because let me just show you guys real quick. You know, and I figure it's just another just another, you know, troll comment. Now, again, I've explained this many times before. I'll explain it one more time. When we're viewing these coronagraphs, folks, we're only given frames. These coronagraphs are scheduled to take snapshots some of them 8 minutes, 12 minutes, 16 minutes, 24 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. It all depends. So that's what we're given. They create a framed video. Okay? If you look at the timestamps up above, you'll see 114, 130, 124, 135. Okay, well, that's the information that they give us. They're frames that create a video. And I told the person that left the comment, look, what do you want me to do? You want me to animate it? You want me to make it up? You want me to fake you out? No, I'm going to show you what I see and what is recorded out there for everybody else to see. I make it more clear and precise so we can see what has been hidden. But this coronal mass ejection started to occur on the 19th of July. By early on the 20th, the very next day, we were now seeing this object as it was passing by. Once again, I truly believe that this system, or it was at one point in time, on a 28-day orbit around our sun, that speed may have increased. I don't exactly know. It's probably impossible for us to know now. But you can see on your screen now that going from the 19th, and I'll show you the coronal mass ejection because it was I'd say like a half halo coronal mass ejection that was directly facing the Earth. You really can't tell looking at the coronagraph because the occulter, that big black circle in the middle, kind of blocks it out. But we will be able to see the halo explosion. It's kind of faint, but you'll be able to see it. But off there in the distance, you can clearly see that object. We have 3 frames. That's it. So here we are, approximately, 2.5 days later, and we're looking at a magnitude 7.8 earthquake in the Aleutian Islands. So many people ask me a lot the same question. Okay, we found this Planet X object. We found this system. It's out there orbiting our sun. It is now part of our inner solar system. What's the big deal? Yeah, I agree. Once you find something, it's maybe no longer exciting, or maybe you don't fear it. So as far as all of these nonsense videos that pop up on YouTube and the nonsense that people put on Facebook about Nibiru crashing into the Earth in 72 hours or whatever, that is pretty much nonsense. But as I've mentioned many, many times before, folks, what we do have to fear is our own star, the sun, that giveth us life and can taketh away. So we need the sun to survive, but the sun can also take us out. So that is my biggest fear. I don't fear the objects that are out there in our inner solar system. I find it intriguing. I want to continue to research and investigate it. I want more clearer photographs. I want to continue to track these objects. But like I said in my last live stream, what's eventually going to happen whenever we start to drift out of the solar minimum into a solar maximum, these coronal mass ejections are going to become more intense and larger. When you start to deal with the laws of probability, and that's where we're going to be, we are probably at one point in time going to get smacked with a very large coronal mass ejection that's going to be induced by this object or this small system that's within our solar system, and all hell's going to break loose. We could have catastrophic earthquakes, magnitude 7 and above earthquakes all around the world, and we could possibly feel the effects of a EMP, electromagnetic pulse, which could wipe out power grids. And if you start wiping out power grids across the entire world or large sections of the world, well, you're probably going to have civil unrest such as what you're seeing here in the United States now. And that type of situation with loss of power and energy will be detrimental. It will be very, very dangerous. And something like that, you just can't fix in a few days. Any type of a hit like that on the Earth's electrical infrastructure, the United States, whatever country, Europe, would be devastating. And again, it's not something that you're going to be able to fix in a matter of hours, days, months. It will be years. So that is the biggest fear. The fear isn't this object crashing into the Earth, because that's nonsense, okay? That's just stupid. But that is the biggest fear. That's what I'm now looking towards, is when this sun of ours moves out of this solar minimum, low activity, which it really hasn't been. We've seen almost daily activity on the sun in the form of, filament releases, but the majority of it's been coronal mass ejections. And my hypothesis, my theory is that as these objects pass close to the sun, they are pulling plasma from the sun, and we are getting these coronal mass ejections. They are now happening with more frequency. And just like with anything, the more frequency, again, those laws of probability start to kick in. So the more something happens like this, the greater the chances of something devastating happening. And lo and behold, we kick this day off with a magnitude 7.8 earthquake. On the 20th, this object was passing by. You can see it on your screen for yourself. This is Earth's view. So what you're looking at on your screen right now is Earth's view. So like I said in my last live stream, the last couple, is that, I mentioned back in January, and I mentioned to Mark at Wages World, I said, now, remember one thing. The Earth is going to be in a different position, as we make our orbit around the sun, and we're going to get different views because of our positioning in our orbit. There's a very high possibility during the months of May, June, July, and August, a 4-month time span where we may be able to get some incredible captures, and we may also see some pretty devastating earthquakes leading from June, July, and August, and possibly even into September. So here we are. We've had some magnitude 6 earthquakes over the past few weeks, but a magnitude 7.8 is definitely something to talk about. especially after it comes a few days after what you're seeing on your screen, and an Earth-facing coronal mass ejection, which began on the 19th. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to the SEEDS program, take a look at the coronagraph, and I'll show you what occurred on the 19th, and it was directed straight towards the Earth. We'll jump out of here. Now, again, going back to the CME tracker. Now, this shows this coronal mass ejection impact occurring or impacting the Earth on or about the 24th, 25th. But again, this is a predictive program. This can possibly change at any minute. And you can see that impact speed up. It may correct itself and show that impact for today. And today is what, the 22nd? So we'll see. That normally takes a few hours, but we'll see. But you can see the direction of that. That is a dead-on. We haven't really had a dead-on impact for coronal mass ejection headed towards Earth like that. That is a bullseye. I mean, that's right on. I'm going to zoom in here. We're going to take a closer look. I mean, literally, if you take a look at this black line right here that splits right through the Earth, take a look at the coronal mass ejection as it occurs, as it starts to spread out and widen. It is dead on, like we are right in the middle of it. And that could possibly be the strongest point of that coronal mass ejection as it expands outward from the sun. And, you know, that's about a 93 million mile trip, depending on the power of the coronal mass ejection. It is easily able to get to the Earth within 48 hours. So we'll see if this model updates within the next couple of hours. But that's dead on there, folks. I'm going to go ahead and reduce this. Jump out of here. You know, we could take a look at the NOAA solar wind. And, you know, here we are back here on the 20th where this yellow line is. Maybe I could jump this up a little bit in size. And I'm just going to use the slider here. And again, this is Earth right here. Oops. This is the Earth right here. And you can see some solar wind did pass by. That would have been on between the 17th and 18th of the month. And it did generate a few earthquakes around the world. But I'm going to go ahead and pan this up just a little bit so I could use the slider. And you can see as we move outward, this is just a predictor model. And again, this will update. The information on this program will change as they read the data, or their computer systems read the data and come up with another prediction. So right now, you can see this green swatch right here, all the way out between the 26th and 27th, kind of missing the Earth, kind of grazing the Earth. And again, this model has not been updated. So we're on the 22nd right here. It doesn't show anything. But what it does show is back here on the 19th, there was a small swatch of solar wind that passed by. Did rock the Earth a little bit with some earthquakes. Nothing really major. So again, a lot of this is not updated yet. I don't know why. You know, they have the damn technology. They should be right on this. But it seems that they are not. Now, this is the 19th. So we're going to be looking at the coronagraph right here. On the 19th, when you see the screen flash, when you see the coronagraph flash like that, you don't see it all the time. But when you do see that, that tells me that coronal mass ejection is kind of facing the Earth. It could be off to the left a little bit, off to the right to a little bit, but the majority of the time when you see those flashes, that's the camera systems being overwhelmed by what has just occurred facing it. So if you overwhelm a camera system, like if I were to shine a flashlight into my webcam right now, it would overwhelm and overexpose what you're seeing. Now, let me get to it right here. There was the flash. Let me back up just a little bit. You see right here, see that arc? Here's more of it here. More of it here. Now that is the coronal mass ejection. That is the halo that is being produced by that explosion. Remember, this coronagraph that we're looking at here is the C2 from SOHO, from the SOHO spacecraft. It's 1 million miles out in front of the Earth. So this is our view. That is our view. Straight ahead, that coronal mass ejection that began on the 19th was a huge halo, and it came directly towards our planet. What happened afterwards? Well, we see the effect. It was a magnitude 7.8 earthquake. Will there be follow-ups, meaning more quakes? I think there will be. They will probably be in different parts on our planet as the Earth rotates. And these heavily charged particles continue to impact the Earth and sink deep into the mantle. That we'll have to keep a very close eye on. And just a few days ago, whenever me and Mark were chatting about this, I told him, I said, look, keep a close eye on it. Keep a close eye on it because it is probably going to happen. And bingo, here we are, Wednesday morning, and we're talking about a magnitude 7.8 earthquake. So if there are things to fear about Planet X and its buddies that are out there orbiting our star, these are the things to I hate to use the word worry about, but these are the things that can happen. And as we move further and further into a solar minimum or a solar maximum, this is what we're going to be looking at. So I'm going to pull up the still photographs, and all of you've seen them. Oh, maybe not. But again, these are in sequential order. These are the frames that were given to us to view. That's it. That's all we have. So you can see right here, 1:14 a.m. on the 20th. What do we see right there? Let's zoom in on it. That's pretty undeniable, don't you think? Definitely not a space bubble or plasma bubble or whatever the hell else people will call it. But it is what it is. As we move to the next frame, which was 124, it's just a little bit further on in its trip. And lo and behold, it's right there. Like I said, folks, the evidence that I show you guys is it's the best evidence there is out there. I do take a look at some other videos that people post on YouTube. 99.99%. It's pretty much fakery, kind of garbage. This next frame was taken at 1:35 a.m. Universal Time on the 20th. Once again, we could see this object cruising by. No doubts about it. No doubts about it. You know, it's there. We can zoom into it. You could take a closer look at it. And it is what it is. So maybe the possibilities of this object passing by in its orbit created the coronal mass ejection on or about the 19th of July. And that coronal mass ejection, due to the orbit of this object, due to the Earth in its orbit, bingo. You know, we have the equation, and, you know, it formed the magnitude 7.8 earthquake. And I do believe that we're going to see some more quakes, possibly throughout the rest of today, possibly even into tomorrow. We'll see. You just have to monitor the situation. Nobody has a crystal ball, and nobody really has all of the answers. But we will definitely see. I was trying to get some additional information on what was happening with this coronal mass ejection, or excuse me, with this earthquake. But Twitter seems to be, we're going to jump on to Twitter real quick, but Twitter seems to be kind of the best place to check it out. We're going to go ahead and just type in Alaska earthquake. See what comes up, the latest. Okay, here's the actual video that was embedded in the Fox News report that we just viewed. That's just the sirens going off. The USGS posts, USGS big quakes, preliminary magnitude 7.8 earthquake. Associated Press, same thing. Everybody is reporting on it. KTVA. There was a multitude of earthquakes that occurred. It led up to some smaller ones, and then boom, a much larger one. I'm seeing if anybody had posted any videos. Just some sea otters. So this is showing the tsunami warning areas to watch. Yeah, so the earthquake was out here in the beginning of the Aleutian Islands. And you can guarantee that people in Kodiak and Anchorage, probably over here in Bethel, maybe even over into Canada, you know, maybe they felt it. You know, again, it's still so early, but we will find out.
7.8 Alaska earthquake.
Oops. This is from WKIRO. Let's just hear what they have to say. I'll lower this volume a little bit. I had it jacked up pretty.
Cairo 7 Chief Meteorologist Morgan Palmer, an update on the 7.8 Alaska earthquake. 7.8, a significant earthquake, and there is a tsunami warning in effect for parts of southern Alaska and out through the Aleutians. The National Tsunami Warning Center and the Pacific Tsunami Warning Centers both do not see any significant tsunami threat to the U.S. coast, to Canada, or to Hawaii, and that's good news. It looks as though the tsunami threat is going to be localized to areas within, say, a couple of 100 miles of that earthquake. But again, a 7.8 earthquake, no concerns in western Washington or along the Pacific Northwest mainland U.S. coast or the coast of Canada from this 7.8 earthquake that occurred at 11:12 p.m. Seattle time, 10:12 p.m. local time in Alaska, just off the coast. But there are evacuations going on, including up at Homer, Alaska. More on Cairo 7 News starting at 4:30.
Okay, interesting.
Cairo
so
7.
we catch a little report from KIRO news station. And again, you know, they're stating now no tsunami threat to Washington, Oregon, or the British Columbia coastlines. I'm sure there will be people on the boob tube fear-mongering and saying, oh, the Earth is coming to an end. Big tsunami crashing into the west coast of the United States. But as of right now, none of that is happening. Seems that everybody has the same information. AccuWeather, that they listed 2 hours ago, magnitude 7.4, but it is a 7.8. And if you guys want to go on to Twitter, like I said, you could, you know, in the little search box up there, you could just type in Alaska earthquake, and all the top information right here will come up. You could click over to the latest and see what you come up. If you guys want to track it and continue to follow the information, maybe post it in your groups. But again, everybody seems to have the same identical information as of right now. We're going to take a look at my Google Earth, and I have all of the earthquakes are automatically loaded into this program. And if we spin her around, and we can zoom straight in, and here we could see the magnitude 7.8. It's a little tricky to get it when there's so many earthquakes. So again, as of right now, the USGS is listing it as a 7.8. Depth, the depth has changed. They were saying 6 miles. Some reports were saying 8 miles. But according to this, it's 17.4 miles deep. And again, that's still very, very shallow. So, you know, there's a possibility of some destruction. You know, I don't know what the populations are out there on these Aleutian Islands. Can't be much. But as you can see, we'll zoom in here. All of these orange circles are earthquakes that have happened within the past day. So there's a multitude of them. 5.7, 6.1. We have the 7.8. Another 5.8. There was a 4.0 right in this Bay Area. And they're scattered everywhere. So this gives us a little bit of a broader look. And you have the coastline, western coastline of Canada, right here. And then way down here, Oregon. And let's see what's going on here in Oregon. There was a small earthquake right here on shore. A magnitude 3.2, 3 kilometers east-southeast of Rose Lodge, Oregon. I'm not sure if they really felt what actually occurred. It's a pretty far distance. But again, that's a magnitude 7.8. I'm sure that, yeah, they might have felt it. We'll find out. We're going to dip over here to the USGS and see, take a look at their interactive map. So there is the felt zone. I actually find that to be kind of small for an earthquake of that magnitude. And again, this may all update. We'll see. And I'm going to go ahead and jump back. And I'm going to take a look and see what the USGS has cooking over here. So you could see there's been a huge swath of earthquakes in this area. And this is the same thing that we just looked at on the Google Earth. Magnitude 7.8. Again, nothing has changed. We can go ahead and tune right into it. Yeah. Now the depth 28 kilometers, 17 miles. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out pertaining to this earthquake. It doesn't look like it has done any damage that we know of as of yet. But we will definitely see. And again, if you guys want to follow the information, I find that Twitter has the most intel when it comes to earthquakes like this, because you have a whole multitude of agencies that are reporting on it. And when you go to Twitter, if you're not on Twitter, maybe make yourself a profile and check it out. Just go up into that search box, type in, Alaska earthquake, and you can check out the information. And, at least you know that the majority of it's credible by looking at the people who are posting it. And just about every seismic office and agency around the world is on Twitter. So, there we have it. Science did say for the longest time that activity on the sun has nothing to do with earthquakes here on our planet. But they changed their tune last month, and now they're starting to see that everything that I've talked about and several others insisting that coronal mass ejections, heavy impacts of solar wind, and it just so happened that on the 19th, our buddy, Mr. Planet X, was passing by, and we have the photographic evidence to prove it. So, leading up to the end of this live stream, don't fear Planet X or Nibiru crashing into the Earth, because that's not going to happen, at least in all of our lifetimes. What you do have to fear is the possibility of Earth changes. And folks, we're already seeing that. We've been seeing that going back as far as, 2014, 15, 16. You can't deny any of that. The climate is changing. The North Pole, the Arctic region, is melting at a rapid pace. Solar radiation levels are increasing. Our magnetosphere is weakening. You see all of the changes if you're paying attention and you do your homework and you're listening to the right people. You will always have the right information. Whether you agree with it or not, if you don't, do your own research. Take the time to learn. I mean, look, I've been at this for, it's been more than 20 years now. It's taken a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of understanding, and a lot of educating myself. And you have to find the right information. And then you'll see it for yourself. And you will start to see more and more people waking up. What's the new term that they use now? You're woke? Yeah. Well, being woke ain't no joke. That's the truth. Anyways, folks, do me a favor. Share the video, share the live stream. Let others see and learn about what you just have. Take care, be safe, and if there is any update, you will hear from me again. Have a great day, and again, stay tuned to Planet X News, the real deal.